Today I'm going to do the second session of biological rhythms. Second session of biological rhythms. Now, in our previous lecture, we talked about bird migration, right? So in this lecture, we are going to talk about hibernation. We call it in Sinhala, Shishiratarane. Topo. Sorry, I really don't know the Sinhala word for that. Then estivation. In Sinhala, it is called Grishma Tarane, estivation. Hibernation, Shishira Taranaya, Sita Kale Gatikiri. Estivation, Grishma Tarane, Grishma Kale Gatikiri. And then very briefly, we'll talk about the circadian rhythms, particularly for humans. Okay, now before I start this lecture, I want to ask, have you heard about a person called Kumbhakarna? You should answer, please. Kumbhakarna. Sonali.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard about Kumbhakarna?
I think in Tamil historical movies, I heard that. I think.
You have heard about that. Okay,
Yeah.
Buddhima, how do you know? Do you know about Kumbhakarna?
No, sir.
You don't know. Right. Chamodi.
I think, sir, Kumbhakarna is a brother of Ravana king.
Okay. What is so special about Kumbhakarna?
He is always sleeping. Oh,
Yeah. He sleeps. He is known for his long sleep. You know, Ravana smuggled, sorry, the princess Sita from India in his Dadumonaraya to Sri Lanka, right? And then knowing this, Rama, the true husband of Sita, came to Sri Lanka with an army and to win her back. So now this is, this is a kind of a historical, it's not a historical thing, it's a mythology kind of thing. It's a Hindu mythology as well as Sri Lanka mythology, right? So to support Rama, a special kind of monkey also came, known as Hanuman. So Rama fought with Ravana, with his army, and at one point Ravana was going to lose. So he wanted his big brother. He had several brothers, right? One of his brothers is Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna was a giant. So King Ravana wanted Kumbhakarna's help to win the war against Rama. So I'm not now going to show you Kumbhakarna. See, now this is Kumbhakarna. It's a kind of a graphical illustration of Kumbhakarna. He was a giant, right? And he was known for his very long sleep. So he sleeps like a log. And once he wakes up from his sleep, he was so hungry. He was so hungry so that, he would, drink, pots of toddy, and also he would eat lots of food as well, right? So when Ravana needed Kumbhakarna's help, he was fast asleep. It is said that it was so very difficult to wake him up. Right? දැන් සමහර කට්ටිය මේ එයාගේ ඇඟුරු නැගලා හෙලි වලින් එන්න කියලා කියනවා මේ එයා කූද්දන්න හරිද සමහර කට්ටිය කනලකට වෙලා බැර ගැහුවා කියලා කියනවා so that is how it is said, right, in this Hindu and Sri Lankan mythology. So what you really have to understand here is that that sometimes Kumbhakarna is also an animal. So animal sleeps for a long time. Now a very recent example. Now we had a driver in our faculty and his name was Somaratna. He is retired now, right? So whenever we go with him, he would park his, van under a tree. No matter it is very hot or whatever, he would sleep in the driving seat. Right? He never ever cared about the outside. But when we ask him to wake up, he would wake up, right? Now, in this case, Somaratna sleeps in the hot weather, right? So I'm going to relate these things to some behavioral patterns in animals. So one such behavioral pattern is what you call the hibernation. Hibernation. Okay, hibernation. It's also known as winter sleep. And some ecologists call it as time migration, right? Now, when you consider about the etymology of this word hibernation, now it has a Latin origin. According to Latin language, himes means winter, right? Hibernation. Now, this hibernation has its roots in its Latin language, right? So hibernation is the behavior adopted by some animals in the upper northern hemisphere in cold countries to survive in adverse winter conditions, right? What you see in this diagram is a bear, right? Outside it is snow. And now the bear is inside a den. We call this den the herbaculum. Herbaculum. I will give that name later, right? So before the winter begins, he would eat a lot. He would eat a lot. And he becomes so fat. And as the winter approaches, he would retrieve into a den and then sleep continuously until the winter lasts, right? Now, sometimes this sleep would go about, 3 months. So in some animals, it would go about, 6 months, continuous. Understand? So this is what we call hibernation. Hibernation is the behavior adopted by some animals in the upper northern hemisphere to survive in adverse winter conditions. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ දරුණු ශීත කාලවලදී උතුරු ලෝකයේ උතුරු අර්ධගෝලයේ වෙසෙන සමහර සතුන් එම දරුණු ශීත කාලයේ මගහැරීම සඳහා උපයෝගී කරගන්න විශේෂිත චර්යාමය උපක්‍රම. Right? This is, like I said, also what you call the winter sleep, right? Winter sleep. So now, as far as these hibernating animals are concerned, one of the well-known animal who hibernates is the bear. Now it lives in some cold country, right? Grizzly bears, sometimes they are called grizzly bears, right? You see, what I am showing you are some 3 photographs. Now, the middle one is kind of a diagrammatic representation, right? Now, here the bear is before the winter. You see the size of this animal, big, right? So, they are big. For example, they can be double their normal size. Now, they become big by eating a lot. So, they eat a lot, right? And then the excess food is stored in the fat tissues. That's the reason why they become fat. Now, when the winter approaches, they would, retrieve into a small den, particularly underground, right? Underground, the temperature changes are not that much, intense. So they would sleep continuously. And after they wake up, see, this is how they look. They are so very small now. That is because during this time they have used the energy of those fat reserves, right? Right? So I'm going to show you some other examples as well. Now, another example is squirrels, usually a ground squirrel. Now, again, like bears, ground squirrels also eat and they sleep during the winter time. Look how they sleep. They curl up the body, right? Usually the muscle is kept among the body hairs. Another example, another photograph showing a squirrel sleeping. And then porcupines, another example. Bats, you see, they may tuti me elila me guhara katuli me elila in the bats la wawullu, right? Now their hibernation period can last up to nearly 2 months. What is important here when hibernating, their heartbeat. Usually when the animal is quite active, their heartbeat is around 300 beats per minute, right? Now, while they are hibernating, the heart rate goes down to 10. You see the heart beats so slowly. Then you should understand, therefore, the blood circulatory, the speed at which the blood circulates in the blood vessels become slow, many other things become very, very slow, right? So some animals, like for example, groundhogs, right? Now, they are also known for hibernation, right? So they sleep for about 5 months. That's their hibernation period, right? Now, I have indicated here some changes that occur in their bodies. Now, for example, the body temperature, they are warm-blooded animals, you see. Now the body temperature decreases from 99 Fahrenheit to 37 Fahrenheit. 37 Fahrenheit. You see their heartbeat, right? The heart rate, slows down from 100 beats to 5 beats per minute. Similarly, the breathing rate also slows down. Generally, it breathes about 16 times per minute, but it becomes now, 2 times per minute. And අර කලින් කියපු වගේ මේ කට්ටියන්ගෙත් මේ hibernation period එකේදී බර ගොඩක් අඩු වෙනවා. So you should understand, now even though the animal sleeps, its metabolic activities are going on, but very slowly, so that they have to use their energy reserves. Energy is preserved in the form of fat, so the fat reserves are used, so as a result the animal becomes so slim, right? Then the common dormouse, now they also hibernate, but before hibernate what they do is that they eat a lot as usual, but in addition they will store some food in the nest, right? The hadisiyari have not chuttak khano aanidaga, chuttak khano aanidaga, right? Now when they fully wake up after the winter, again, actually in the outside environment it is so very hard to find food, nuts, etc. So still they have something to eat in the nest till a new food season starts. So now I am going to tell you some of the major behavioral and physiological changes happening in these hibernating animals while they hibernate, right? So as earlier, now this presentation I have showed you earlier, a bear is hibernating in a hibernacum, right? Hibernacule, sorry, hibernicule. So what happens now? For your convenience, I have listed these changes under behavioral changes and physiological changes. Now, if you consider the behavioral change, you see what happens is that the animal retreats into a very secure and moist hibernating den. මේක බොහොම ආරක්ෂක තැනක්. උගක් වෙලාවට මම ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වා වගේ මේ පොළොව යට තියෙන කුහරයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. පොඩි ගුහාවක් වගේ. Right? So scientifically we call this hibernating den as the hibernaculum. Right? Now the other thing is that the body is curled up. So the body appears as a bowl, fur bowl, right? And often the nose and the tail are buried among the body hair. Is it possible for you to tell me a reason for this? Can anyone of you make a suggestion?
To conserve the body heat.
Yeah. That's to conserve the body heat. You know, when the body is like a bowl, you know, it's the surface area to volume ratio decreases. That way they can, you know, minimize the heat loss to the outside cold environment. That's the reason, right? Then they sleep for a long duration until the winter lasts. Now, when the winter is over, right? So after the winter comes the, you know, the spring. Vasanta kale enne ඊට පස්සේ. හරිනේ දැන් ඔය seasons හතර ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඔය සීත රටවල තියෙන පටන් ගමුකෝ winter එකෙන් winter සීත කාලේ. Then comes the spring. Vasanta kale. Then comes the summer grishma kale. Then comes the autumn or fall. මේකට අපි කියමුකෝ සරත් කාලේද මොකක්ද මන් දන්නේ. ගස්වල කොළ හැම හැලිලා යන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. Now those are also known as the seasons, the 4 seasons. Now each season could last up to, you know, 3 months. තුනේ එව්වා හතරක්නේ 12යි කියන්නේ මාස 12ක් ගත වෙන්නේ මේ විදිහට තමයි. So now they wake up in the late winter, that is early spring, right? And then ඇඟපතේ ඉරි හැම අරගෙන ඉතින් ඇවිදලා ඉතින් අර ඛණ්ඩ හොයන්න යනවා. හරිනේ? So it takes a long time to wake up fully and to move around, because they have to, you know, now all the physiological processes have been slowed down, right? So instantly they cannot, you know, speed up those activities. For that it takes some time. It's about 3-4 hours. So the animal wakes up gradually, little by little. Now අපි වෙලාවක දඩස් කාලේ එකපාරටම හැරෙන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් මම අද උදේ හැරුණා හරියටම 4ට මොකද අපේ ඇන්ටි කෑ ගැහුවා දැන් 4යි වෙලාව නැගිටිනවා. දඩස් ගාලා හැරුණා. So how about the physiological changes? What kind of physiological changes should occur? You know, usually its body functions, you know, slows down. It's by about 98%. Why these things happen? That is to save their stored energy resource. That's a fat reserve. No. Now in this, I have listed here some of these most important physiological changes. Firstly, the body temperature lowers, right? Body temperature lowers. Then the breathing rate, you know, lowers, slows down. If you want some examples, please go to the previous slides, right? After I share this. Then the heart rate slows down. Because of all these things, the metabolic rate slows down. Oxygen in ප්‍රමාණය එහෙම අඩු වෙනානේ. And the irritability slows down. Irritability කියන්නේ මේ සත්තු උත්තේජනය වෙන හැකියාව. The irritability slows down. You know, when the animal is fast asleep in its hibernation sleep, you know, some experiments have proved that some animals can imagine, right? Now, because of all these things, you see, you know, a true hibernator is the animal who actually undergoes hibernation sleep, right? It appears as a kind of a dead animal. It's not dead, it appears as a dead animal, right? Now, I'll tell you why the above animals hibernate. You see, I showed you these two photographs in my previous lecture on bird migration, right? The same place. This is how it appears in the winter, and the same place how it appears in the summer, in the early spring and summer. දැන් මේ අයිස් දිය ගලා යන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. ටෙම්පරේචර් එක ටිකක් වැඩි වෙන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. Right? So it is during this winter, like I told you, they undergo. In the early spring, they wake up from the winter sleep. So how do these things happen? Why do these happen? That's a big question, right? So you understand that in the winter, you know, the outside temperature is very, very low. Sometimes it's a minus value. Right? Then Canada වගේ රටවල උෂ්ණත්වය සෙන්ටිග්‍රේඩ් අංශක ඍණ 20ට විතර බහිනවා. බිඳුවයිනේ. ඊටත් වැඩි උෂ්ණත්වය අඩු වෙනවා. So it is freezing cold outside. Now, in this cold condition, right? So by default, the temperature is so low, and the food production, the primary productivity of the trees becomes low. Therefore, there is no any food production, and the water is mostly frozen, right? And the days are shorter because the days are shorter, so the animals don't get enough, you know, time to, you know, go in search for food, right? And because of all these things, it is not at all suitable to do in this outside, you know, freezing cold environment. So what they do is, like I said, they would, you know, go into a hibernaculum or a den and then sleep. They don't have nothing to do other than sleeping, right? So as the spring or the winter, as the spring or the summer approaches, you know, the temperature gradually begins to increase. And, you know, the the trees become activate. So there is a lot of food, and the water now is in the liquid state, so they can drink water, and the days are longer. So they have more time to feed. And now, therefore, because of all these things, the surrounding environment is excellent to live in the outdoors, coming out from their hibernaculum, and then also to breed. So one thing you should understand again is that during the breeding season, during the hibernation period, they don't really breed. They don't reproduce. They reproduce only when the summer approaches, right? So what are the advantages? Simply speaking, because of the hibernation, the animal can, you know, avoid the cold outside temperatures in the surrounding environment, and they can survive without being killed, without being killed. So they can, you know, they can survive in the harsh winter. That's the advantage. In the summer, when it approaches, when the spring or the summer comes, so they will wake up and eat, and then they reproduce. So during the springtime or the summertime, they can, you know, increase the population size. It is during this period they become highly active. Now, there are disadvantages of the hibernation. There are advantages. The major advantage is, you know, you understand that they can avoid the winter. They can survive during the winter. You know, what the birds did was that they migrated. They flew to distant, warmer country. But these animals cannot. They can, you know, walk, but it takes a lot of time. The walking speed is not that fast. So instead of migrating into warmer areas, what they did was that they hibernated, right? You see, now during the hibernation, you know, some major disadvantages are also brought to the animal. I have given you those disadvantages. For example, the animal becomes so defenseless, so that it becomes so vulnerable to the predators who are actually active. Now, why they become defenses? Because now you understand they are, the metabolic activities are slow. So they are reflexes. The reflexes, their vigilance, and the reaction abilities all become slow, so that they cannot quickly respond to the predators. Also, in the males, the sperm cell production is inhibited. The spermatogenesis is inhibited, or it slows down. Then their immunity is reduced. That is because you will clearly now understand it is because of the reduction of their metabolic activities, right? And the growth becomes so slow, particularly in the younger individual. It's the younger individuals whose growth rates are really fast. But in these harsh winter conditions, because of the reasons that I explained to you earlier, it is so their growth rate becomes so slow. And there is also a possibility of death. Now, this happens particularly if, due to some reasons, the winter prolongs. Winter එක දික් වෙනවා. එතකොට අර ඇඟේ කොහොමත් රැස් කරගත්ත fat reserves හුඟක් මාඩු වෙනවා. එතකොට මේ කට්ටිය they starve to death. They starve to death. Okay. Now I will tell you another animal rhythm. That's what you call torpor. Torpor. T-O-R-P-O-R. Please don't try to find the singular terms for all these things, right? Now, torpor is, I would say, the small version of hibernation. Hibernation කියන එකේ පොඩි එක්කෙනා තමයි torpor කියලා. Hibernation කියලා කියන ලොකු කාලයක් නේ. torpor කියලා කියන්නේ සීත කාලේදී කෙටි නිදි දාගන්න එක. සමහර සත්තු. Right? Torpor is a state of decreased physiological activity in an animal. Right? Again, as in hibernation, in torpor, the body temperature and metabolic rates, drop. Now, usually the torpor is seen in the periods where the food availability is somewhat low, right? So in the outside environment, there is less food, right? If the animal goes in search for food, really it is difficult to find it. So if it continues to search for food, it wastes it has to use a lot of energy. ඉතින් කොහොමත් නැති ආහාරය හොයාගන්න තියෙන ශක්තිය වැය කරොත් එහෙම සතා ඉක්මනටම මිය යන්න පුළුවන්. මෙන්න මේ නිසා මේකෙන් බේරෙන්න තමයි මේ torpor කියන එක මේ සත්තු කරන්නේ. Right? So as I indicated, the duration of torpor is much shorter than in true hibernation. Sometimes it lasts for several days or only a few weeks. Right? Now, in this slide, I have given you the major differences between torpor and hibernation. Right? So you know the characteristics of the hibernation. Now, please read these things leisurely so that you can understand how the torpor differs from hibernation. The torpor again is a behavioral pattern, is a rhythmic behavioral pattern. Right? Now, I come back to Somaratna. What did I tell you about Somaratna? Hello? Man Somaratna ගැන මොකක්ද ඔයගලන් කිව්වේ අපි? මතකද? driver Somaratna. උත්තර දෙන්න නැති හින්දා මං කියන්න යන්නම් පෙන්නන්නම් පාපා මුලටම ගිහිල්ලා මෙන්න Somaratna. Somaratna, I didn't have have an actual photograph of Somaratna sleeping, but well, මේවාගේ තමයි ඉතින් මේක මම මේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකෙන් ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරගත්ත එකක්. Now Somaratna, he was known for his sweating sleep. දාඩිය පෙරාගෙන බුදියන්. He didn't care about that. ඉතින් දාඩිය පෙරෙන්නේ සීත වෙලාවේදී නෙමෙයිනේ. රස්නේ වෙලාවේදී. So sleeping under the hot sun, that's what you call that is how Somaratna slept. So likewise, the same kind of slept under hot sun is performed by some animals also. Now the hot sun is seen usually in the arid environments. You see the tropical habitats, like for example deserts, right? Now this particular sleep is what you call estivation. Grishma nidrava කියමුකෝ, summer sleep කියලා කියනවා, summer hibernation කියලා කියනවා. Right? So therefore I have given you the kind of definition for estivation. Now the estivation is a state of animal dormancy that takes place in the summer. මෙන්න මේ වචනේ හරි වැදගත් වෙනවා. Summer එකේ. Hibernation takes place in the winter, but estivation takes place in the summer, right? Now the summer months, usually months like, say for example, August to July, August, September, October. Now these 4 months, July, August, September, October, these are the 4, extremely hot months in the northern hemisphere, particularly in the northern tropical countries. And පොඩ්ඩක් reverse වෙනවා southern hemisphere එකට යනකොට. ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් කියලා බලා ගන්න ගයි එහෙම වෙන්නේ කියන එක. Right now so ඉතින් ওই පැත්තේම තමයි ඔය තියෙන්නේ මොනවද deserts එහෙම. අන්තර මෙන්න මේවල ජීවත් වෙන කට්ටිය තමයි මේ estivation එක දක්වන්නේ. Usually the estivation lasts for hot dry daytime. දවල් නිදා ගන්නවා. රස්නේ වෙලාවෙදී දවල්ට නිදා ගන්නවා. But at night it becomes active, right? Now this is what the root origin of this word. And again it has a Latin origin, right? Aestas. The Heimski winter එකට ඒ වගේ aestas කියලා කියන්නේ summer එකට, right? ඒකෙන් තමයි මේ වචනේ හැදලා තියෙන්නේ estivation කියන්නේ. So it's again sleeping, yes, but sleeping under the hot sun. Estivation is like hibernation, torpor in hot weather. Now I'm showing some estivating animals. Here these animals are actually the snails. මේ කට්ටිය මේ ගහේ පොත්තක් පොඩ්ඩක් අයින් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒකට පේන මේ පොත්ත යට තමයි මේ කට්ටිය ගොඩක් විදියට ඉන්නේ. එහෙම තමයි. So I'm showing you some estivating animals, earthworms, crocodiles, turtles, mud turtles, and the insects, like for example the bees, and these snails, and the hedgehogs, salamanders. I think I told you about salamanders. මතකද මම අර මොනවාද අර මේ ring species ගැන කිව්වා evolution වලදී. එතකොට salamanders ල ගැන මම කතා කරා. ඇමරිකා එක්සත් ජනපදයේ අර Rockies කඳුවැටිය දෙපැත්තේ ඉන්න විශේෂ ගැන කතා කරේ. Now during the summer what these salamanders do is that they burrow into the soil and then they sleep. So that's how they estivate, right? And another example, kangaroo mouse. Now it's a kind of a desert living animal. It's called a kangaroo mouse because it's 4 limbs. The hands are much shorter than the hind legs. Okay? 4 limbs, hind legs. අද්දක කකුල් දෙකට වඩා ගොඩක් කොටයි, ඒ කියන්නේ කකුල් දෙක දීර්ඝයි. මුන් පැන යන්නේ. මේ අපි සාමාන්‍ය මීයෝ වගේ ඇවිදගෙන නෙමෙයි යන්නේ. පැන යන්නේ ඒ කට්ටිය. That's why they are called kangaroo mouse, right? So when the outside temperature is so hot, the kangaroo mouse also estivate. Now let me tell you how these animals estivate. You see, what happens is that the animal rests in a cool or shady and moist place. This is very important, moist place. Or burrows into the ground, right, where the temperature stays cool. Now I have shown you some example, right? The salamander, for example, burrows into the soil and then they estivate. Right? So like in hibernation, their metabolic, the rate of metabolic activities, slow down when they are hibernating, activating. Okay, that is about the estimation. Can you please tell me the advantages and disadvantages of estimation? Now it is your time to answer. Can you tell me advantages of estimation? Now you know the advantages of hibernation. You can tell me about the advantages of estimation as well. Can you please make suggestions? Hello, students.
The animals avoid the very hot times of the day.
Okay, fine, excellent. I agree with you. Animals can avoid the extremely hot times of the day so that they would prevent from dying. Okay, very good.
Reduced risk of predation.
Sorry?
Reduced risk of predation.
Yeah, it is possible because now in the outside, now they are quite visible to daytime predators who are actually active. Like for example, the snails. Now, if they, the snails, estivate in an open area, quite motionless, right? They become, kind of obvious things to predators. That's a risk, disadvantage.
Food availability is very low during the drought season. So
Yeah. Food availability, not only the food availability, the water availability is also low during the dry season. So if they sleep, right, their food consumption and water consumption all become so low. So they can avoid those water scarce, food scarce conditions. That's very good. So thank you very much. So likewise, we can consider about the advantages and disadvantages of estivation. Now the advantages, like you said, help avoid damage to animals in high temperature in summer. Then estivation also, it saves energy and water needs. And then it also reduces the risk of predation, right? Now there are disadvantages as well, as in hibernation. Because of the great similarity with hibernation, it's likely that the same detrimental effects are also associated with the estivation. දැන් estivate කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ අර metabolic rate එක අඩු වෙනවා කියලා මම කියවනේ. එතකොට අර hibernation එකේදී වගේම එම නරක ප්‍රතිඵල estivation එකේදී තියෙන්නට පුළුවන්. ඒක කරන එම behavior එක වෙනන සතුට. Okay, quite interesting these things, aren't they? See, this is really the beauty of animal kingdom. These things. Have you heard about these things anyway before today? Have you heard about the hibernation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Have you heard about those estivation?
no, sir.
Okay, good. So we learn new things here. And these new things are extremely, I think, extremely interesting. Very interesting things. I believe. So I find you will see it that way. Okay. So under the animal rhythms, I'm going to finally to talk about the circadian rhythms, or simply known as the daily rhythms. Now, the migration, bird migration, then hibernation, the torpor, and estivation, they are kind of seasonal rhythms. Seasonal rhythms that takes more than 1 day in order to complete a full rhythm, full cycle. In order to complete a full cycle, it takes more than 1 day, right? But we have to understand there are daily rhythms as well. right? Now, these daily rhythms, also known as the circadian rhythms, are seen in animals as well as in other kind of organisms. Like, for example, this mimosa, right? Mimosa. Mimosa කියලා කියන්නේ නිදිකුම්බනේ, you know, also කතුරුමුරුංගා. At night, when the light intensity is very low, simply speaking, and it is dark, you know, the leaves, මේ චූටි leaves මේක compound leaf එකක්. හරිද? සංයුක්ත පත්‍ර කියන මහලා තියෙනවානේ. මේකම නාරටියට චූටි පත්‍රිකා ගොඩක් හයියලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා තමයි මේකට කියන්නේ සංයුක්ත පත්‍රිකාවක් කියලා. මේ චූටි සංයුක්ත පත්‍රිකා ඇකිලෙනවා රැට. උදේට ආයි දිගහැරෙනවා. දවල් කාලේ දිගහැරෙල්ල තියෙනවා. Then you should understand when we disturb the mimosa plant, then again the leaves would collapse. But that's not what I am talking about. I'm talking about the natural rhythm, right? And then, you know, the spore development and spore release in fungi. Usually this happens during the day when the, you know, the wind turbulence is somewhat high. So the spore release is somewhat synchronized with the wind speed, right? So the wind can carry the spores into distant areas. That's a rhythm, right? One of the best known example that comes from humans, where we wake up during the daytime, but we sleep, we feel sleep, and we actually sleep at the night time. So this happens because of a particular hormone that is secreted by the pineal gland. In the next lecture, I will talk about these hormones and behavior, right? Pineal gland. the කේතු දේහය කියන එකක් ගැන අපේ තියෙනවා. එලෙවල් වලට කරාද කේතු දේහය? Pineal gland. Can you answer please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, pineal gland. So the pineal gland, it secretes a hormone at night. So this nighttime hormone is what you call melatonin. Melatonin, right? Melatonin. So again, when the sun rises, the pineal gland becomes kind of deactivated and the melatonin secretion reduces. As a result, we wake up. Again, the following night, when the night approaches, the pineal gland activates and then starts to secrete melatonin. When the melatonin concentration in the blood increases, we feel sleepy. Again, it's a daily rhythm. Right? Now, this daily rhythm, you know, these daily rhythms are actually what you call the circadian rhythms, also simply known as the daily cycles. Right? So I'm going to show you some daily rhythms in humans, circadian rhythm. You see, noon, right? Now, around 2:30 in the afternoon, we get our best coordination. Then fastest reaction time, greatest cardiovascular efficiency and muscle strength, highest blood pressure, in a normal resting person, right? The highest body temperature, that's about 7 p.m. Then melatonin secretion starts say about 9 p.m. So bowel movements suppressed at night. So midnight, we sleep. And say around 2 a.m., early morning, we go into a very deep sleep. Right? Say around 4:30 in the morning. No. Then when නින්ද තියෙන වෙලාවේදී අපේ metabolic activities ගොඩක් අඩු වෙනවා. Therefore, as a result, the body temperature also slows down. Go down a little, right? So, say around 6:45 in the morning, sharpest rise in the blood pressure. That is necessary, don't you think? Because the body temperature is low as a result of low, slow metabolic activities. Slow in order to make the body ready for the day. So the metabolic activities should be made faster. That can be done by giving more and more oxygen to the cells, body cells. And that can be done by rapid bloodstream, blood flow. Therefore, in order to do that, the blood pressure increases. And then surround the melatonin secretion stops. In මේ වෙලාවට වෙනකන්වත් මේ melatonin චුට්ටක් තියෙන නිසා we feel a little sleepy in the morning as well. And then bowel movements begin. That's the reason why you go to toilet in the morning. The bowel movements increase usually in the morning. So men become so very active because their testosterone secretion heightens, right? And then say around 10 a.m. in the morning. So we become alert, highly alert. Then මේක නැවත සිදු වෙනවා rhythm එක. So these are some examples of the circadian rhythms in the human body, right? Now I told you these circadian rhythms are strictly connected to our internal biological clock. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's the biological, that's the internal timing mechanism. So all these biological rhythms are coupled with that internal timing mechanism. And now, as far as I am concerned, having lived on this earth in this, tropical Sri Lanka, my biological rhythm is so very timed to the tropical environment. So, ඔයගොල්ලොත් එහෙමයි. ඔයගොල්ලොත් මේ ධර්ම කලාපයක ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ මෙච්චර දැන් අවුරුදු 2ක් විතර ජීවත් වෙලා ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ බයොලොජිකල් රිද්ම් එක හරියටම ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ බයොලොජිකල් ක්ලොක් එකට හරියටම ටැලි වෙලා තියෙනවා. So every day, say around 9 p.m. at night, you feel sleepy. But can you imagine we who have a very fixed and kind of fixed biological rhythm now travels into a distant country. Say for example, United States. We fly there. හරිනේ. දැන් ඔයාලා දන්නවද දැන් උදේ වෙලාව 8:00යි ඈ. දැන් ඇමරිකාව ගත්තොත් එහෙම එහෙ වෙලාව කීයක් විතරද? Can anyone of you tell me? ඔයාලා හිතන්නේ එහෙත් ඇමරිකාවේ දැන් උදේ 8:00 කියලාද? Do you think so?
No, sir.
No. Then roughly tell me. හරි. දැන් මට මෙහෙම උත්තරයක් දෙන්නකෝ. දැන් දවස මුලින්ම පටන් ගන්නේ අපිටද ඇමරිකාවටද?
America.
Us.
අපිට පටන් ගන්න මොකද ලෝකේ ඉරවටේ කරකෙන්නේ ඊස්ට් සයිඩ් එකටනේ. හරිද? ඒ නිසා දවස දැන් අපිට උදේ අපිට දවස පටන් ගන්න තියෙන්නේ. But at this very moment 8:30 in the morning, now America is 12 hours behind to us. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් ඇමරිකාවේ රැට 8:00යි. එරුණාද? You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Now imagine, now we fly to America in a plane. හරිද? දැන් ඔන්න අපි එහෙන් ගිහිල්ලා බහිනවා. එතකොට දැන් අපි එහෙ ගිහිල්ලා බහිනකොට දැන් අපි උදේ යනවා කියලා හිතන්නකෝ ප්ලේන් එකට නැගලා කටුනායකින් නැගලා ඇමරිකාවට යනවා ඈ. එතකොට ප්ලේන් එක මහා වේගෙන් ගියා කියලා හිතන්න within a period of 1 hour. So by the time we go to America, what would be the time there? We leave Katunayaka say around 8:30. The plane takes 1 hour. Imagine 1 hour to go to America. What time it would be? The monkey one. අපිට උදේ 8:00යි එතකොට එනම් මේ රෑ 8:00යි ඇමරිකාව අනිත් පැත්තේනේ තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට දැන් අපි ප්ලේන් එක ගුවන්ගත වෙලා තියෙනකොට ලෝකේ කැරකෙනවානේ. කැරකෙනකොට ඊට පස්සේ පැයක් ඇතුළතදී ලෝකේ කැරකෙලා ඉවරයි ටිකක්. එතකොට ඇමරිකාවට එනම් දැන් රෑ 8:00ද නැත්නම් වෙනින් වෙලාවද? Tell me. Yeah, it is 9:30. අනේ මේ ඕගොල්ලෝ මේ chat එක දාන්න එපා. You can speak. බය වෙන්න එපා කතා කරන්න. හරිද? දැන් එහෙනම් 9:00. හරි. එතකොට මොකක් වෙයිද අපිට? Are we going to sleep? Because it is night there.
No, sir.
No, then why?
Because our bodies are still used to the time in Sri Lanka.
Yeah. So now when we land in America, it is dark, right? Naturally, what should happen is that we should feel sleepy, but you know, our biological clock, the internal biological is so timed that although it is dark there in America, we cannot sleep. තේරුණාද? මෙන්න මේ සිදුවීම අපි හඳුන්වනවා ජෙට් ලැග් එකක් කියලා. ජෙට් ලැග්. හරිද? ඔබට හිතන්නකෝ ජෙට් ලැග් කියන එක. This is I am giving this information only for your information. I'm not going to ask about jet lag in the exam, right? But this happens. That is because of the, jet lag happens because of the misalignment of our body's, internal biological clock with the local time in a distant destination. It takes a few days for your biological clock to adjust into that new environment. දවස් කීපයක් යනකම් ඔය රැට හැරලා ඉන්නවා දාල්ට ඉඳිවත් හැදෙනවා. උන්න ඔයගේ ඉන්න ජරමර වැඩ ආගයක් වෙනවා. හරිද? ඉතින් ඔන්න තමයි මට දැන් මේ කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. හරි? So I hope now you have a fairly good understanding about the animal rhythms, right? So in my previous lecture, we talked about, I started to tell you about animal rhythms. So you know what is meant by animal rhythms. We learned in detail animal behavioral rhythm, bird migration, right? I still believe that it's a very interesting thing. Similarly, some other animal rhythms are circadian rhythms, right? And hibernation, estivation, etc. Right? So those are the rhythmic behavioral patterns seen in various kinds of animals. Okay, so that's all I have to tell you in this lecture. I will talk to you about hormones and behavior in my next lecture. Another very interesting behavioral aspect, how the behavior is governed by our hormone levels. Enzyme levels, hormone levels. How the animal's behavior is governed by hormone. We'll talk about that in our next lecture. So today we talked about the rhythmic behavioral pattern. Today and in the previous lecture we talked about the rhythmic behavioral pattern.